It's recording? Yes, it is. Hey, everyone. Look, something's been driving me nuts about gun safety, okay? So, got my firearm here. I'm gonna go over basic stuff here. And the reason I'm doing this is because there's a lot of people out there. A lot of people have been firing. A lot of people gone out there shooting a lot, okay? A lot of you guys, you have more experience than I do. Yet for some reason, you're not treating gun safety. You're not taking gun safety seriously. Look, the reason I'm going to do this is because I've noticed something. I noticed a trend going on here, and that is people always come up with excuses on why they're safe with a firearm, and I hate that shit. I hate it. In the oil fields, I heard that crap all the time on why nothing's ever going to go wrong with them, you know? And with every type of job, in truck driving, a lot of these guys, they've been there for a long time, they got seniority, and then they just stop following protocol and even very basic common sense procedures that are there to keep them safe. And it's really sad, but I'm going to talk about something here real quick, okay? This is a Kimber, it's the Pro Carry 2 HD. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. When someone hands you a firearm, I don't care if they cleared it already, it's at a Bass Pro Shop or Turner's Outdoorsman or whatever, alright? You should clear it too. Get in the habit of always clearing your firearm. Magazine comes out, right? Lock this puppy through here. Look and make sure you see light through the barrel. I see light through the barrel. And then I also look through here, make sure that there's nothing in the mag. Why? Because why not? So I look through here, it's clear. I look through here, it's clear. I slide it back, and does it still have a round in it? You bet it does. It always has a round in it. Okay? And that's what you need to keep in mind. Point off to the side, away from anyone if it were to ricochet or anything, and okay. Right? It's been cleared, but there might still be a round in it. As a matter of fact, there is still a round in it. Why is there a round in it? Because. Just because there's always a round in it. For all I know, an alien beamed freaking round into the chamber. Or maybe when I looked away, someone outside tripped on a rock and there was a round under that rock and it skipped up in the air and into my home and slid perfectly in here while I looked away. You know what? I don't care how ridiculous it sounds. You come up with the most ridiculous freaking thing, I don't care. The thing is, in your mind, there's always a round in the chamber. Period. That's the only thing that matters. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because I've seen, like I said, a trend, okay, with a lot of people, and I want you to remember this because I've learned that this is a great way to determine whether someone is safe to go shooting with or not. And that is, the more someone talks about that they know about firearms, the more they boast about it, or that they're prideful about it, the less safe they are to go shooting with. And the thing is what is a professional? I've seen a lot of people with amazing skill. On my Facebook page, I friend all sorts of people who do gun competitions and all that fantastic stuff. These men and women are fantastic. This one lady, Smith & Wesson, is her sponsor. Whew, she is something. It's fantastic. Go out there with AR-15, all that stuff. You know what? It doesn't mean shit if you're not safe. And that's the thing. A lot of these people don't understand that these professionals, like my friends on Facebook, they learned safety first. They understand safety. A professional understands safety. That's always the first thing. I don't care how quick you could draw. I don't care how accurate you are. If you're not safe with a firearm, you shouldn't have one. You shouldn't touch one. Okay? I've seen a lot of guys who have given me stupid excuses on why they can handle a firearm. And the first thing they do, like my future father-in-law here, I was shocked when I went to the range with this guy, and he's the reason I decided to make this video. I was looking for an example of really bad people who are who shouldn't have firearms. I had a friend of mine and he's an actor, and he said, "Oh, it's okay." And as soon as he grabbed my firearm, he pointed it right at me and placed his finger on the trigger without clearing it, while he's saying, "I'm safe with the gun." Or, no, he doesn't say that. He says, "I know what I'm doing." I'm to his left. He says, "I know what I'm doing. I used one in a movie once." And he was totally serious. I've heard multiple actors say this. Okay? Not actresses, but only actors. I've heard so many, there's been so many actors who said, I know what I'm doing, I used one in a movie once. Or, I know what I'm doing, I went shooting with my cousin once. Or, I know what I'm doing, I was raised around firearms. And they all do the same thing. They end up pointing it at people. They ended up pointing it in the air when they shouldn't. Like right now, I've got this pointing up in the air. In my mind, it can still go off. Notice my finger stays broken off the trigger at all times. And in my mind, am I thinking about how safe I am and why nothing's going to happen? No, what I'm thinking about is if something does happen. If this thing does go off, and there does happen to be a round in it for some reason, even though I cleared it, where's the round going to go? That's why I'm actually thinking right now where it's going to land. That's why this thing is pointing a certain way that it's pointing. Otherwise, if I weren't sitting down, I'm going to keep it pointing at the ground and away from anyone so it doesn't ricochet. You see what I mean? These are common sense things that you have to think of at all times. But what really took the cake is recently I went with a guy shooting. He took his whole family to the gun range, fantastic gun range out there in Ohio. What was that gun range called?
I wish I could remember.
Fantastic gun range, fantastic people. Anyway, this guy went there. He took his family, and I couldn't believe how dangerous he was. His kids, he did not teach anyone there or his wife anything, not even the most basic things about gun safety or how to handle a firearm. Nothing at all. He pointed it at people over 40 times. He had the gun loaded, ready to go, pointing it at me with his finger on the trigger while talking about it. And while talking about this, later on, my fiance brought it up because it's her dad. She mentioned to him that he's making me nervous because while talking to him, he's talking like this, and I'm leaning away from the barrel, and I'm thinking, this guy was a CB in the Navy. He's been bragging for a long time why he's a sharpshooter and this and that. And the thing is he was the most dangerous person, but also he talked about firearms and how professional he was at all times. So since he spoke about it more than anyone else I ever heard, he was also the most dangerous than anyone else I ever heard. And I want you to understand that. The more someone talks about how good they are with the gun, the less safe they're going to be. I don't know why this is. It's just the way it is. And I don't know why. But what's scary too is with this gentleman, after my fiance said, he's into gun safety, he looks at me while pointing the gun at me like this and says, "Well, yeah, but you also need to have common sense." He was not joking. He was completely serious. And he's a former CB in the military, in the Navy. Holy mackerel. So the point of that, why am I telling you that? Am I sharing the story just to badmouth him because he's an a-hole and is probably, never mind, I'm not going to get into that, but treats his family horribly or anything like that? No. The reason I'm telling you this is because when I went to the range that day, I realized if you go out and you go shooting and you may not know anything about guns, you don't know if you could really trust that person. You don't know if you could trust them with a firearm. You don't know if they're going to train you correctly. With me, I love to train people. I love it. Safety is everything. But I've noticed I seem to be the only one. There's other instructors out there, multiple instructors I do not trust. I recommend find a shooting range if you want to learn to shoot. Alright? Go to a shooting range and ask the professionals. Go online and look up gun safety. Go into the NRA has so much stuff on gun safety. Okay? But the thing is, people stop pointing guns at people. Just because the fact that you've been shooting for a long time and you know better and you know safety doesn't mean that when you ignore that stuff and you start being unsafe, nothing's going to happen. Something is going to happen. It's always the people with experience out there in the ranges who get so used to it. Just like in the oil fields, people have been out there for so long. Just like truck driving, people have been doing it for so long. They start slacking and then you get someone else killed. So again, I'm going to go through this. I want you to understand this, especially, newbies. It's very simple. Magazine comes out. Slide back. Look through here, make sure that there's light. There's light. Yeah, there's light. And then there's light through the magazine. Forward, away from everyone. My fiance's over there to my left. I'm going to point it over here. It might still go off. I don't know. It didn't. Firearm, according to my knowledge, is clear. But there's still a round in it. There's always a round in it. Always. Remember that. Thanks for watching.